Breakfast is either your biggest ally or your biggest enemy for your blood sugar. And most people, even the ones genuinely trying to eat healthy, are making mistakes at breakfast that are actively making insulin resistance worse. Not because they are eating too much, not because they are eating carbs, but because of three specific things: the wrong carbohydrate sources, too much saturated fat paired with those carbs, and not enough protein. Those three things together create the perfect storm for elevated blood sugar levels that follow you for the rest of the day. So if your blood sugar spikes every morning, no matter what you eat, or you feel a crash of energy around 10 or 11 a.m. that makes you reach for something sweet, or you've been told to cut carbs at breakfast, but you're still not seeing your blood sugar numbers improve, then this video is for you. I'm gonna go ahead and build you the ideal breakfast for perfect blood sugar from the ground up. The best protein sources, a specific type of bread that is in a completely different category than other breads, the open-faced sandwich that I regularly eat, a protein shake that gets you the protein target that you need, and two things that I do with breakfast that actually determine if your meal is going to regulate your blood sugar levels or spike them. And as always, before we dive in, if you want a complete guide built on the principles that we teach in this channel to reverse the root cause of high blood sugar levels, go ahead and comment guide below this video and I'll send it your way. It's completely free and it contains 3 different meal plans to choose from. Let's go ahead and build this breakfast. Before we get into specific foods, I need to clear the biggest misconception in the diabetes space. Whole food carbohydrates are not the problem. Oats, legumes, fruit, sprouted grains, these are not what's actually driving insulin resistance, the root cause of the problem. Here's what is actually driving it: refined carbohydrates and saturated fats, especially when you pair them together. Refined carbs, like processed grains, flours, added sugars, they spike blood sugar levels fast because they have been stripped out of their fiber content. Fiber is like a regulator. Think of fiber like a dam in a river. Without it, glucose rushes into the bloodstream with nothing to stop it. With it, it trickles into the bloodstream slowly at a regulated pace. And your pancreas barely has to react with small amounts of insulin as long as fiber is part of the meal. Same carbohydrates, completely different blood sugar response. Now, add saturated fat to the equation. Saturated fat directly interrupts insulin receptor function. It physically blocks insulin from doing its job in the cell membrane. So when glucose floods in, your cells cannot respond properly. Blood sugar levels stay elevated and insulin levels elevated as well. And this is how insulin resistance deepens. This is the reason why a donut is catastrophic for blood sugar. Not just because it's sweet and it contains refined carbohydrates, but because it also contains high amounts of saturated fats. That is the worst possible combination. So the solution isn't to cut all carbs. The solution is to eat the right carbohydrates with the right type of fat. And of course, enough fiber to act as a dam. High fiber, low saturated fat, enough protein, and whole food carbohydrates. These 4 things together help you reverse insulin resistance, not just manage it. Now, let's talk what that actually looks like on your plate. Number 1, protein, your blood sugar anchor. The very first thing your breakfast needs is enough protein. And most people are underestimating how much that really matters. Research consistently shows that a high protein breakfast in the range of 25 to 30 grams of protein reduces the post-meal blood sugar response and keeps hunger regulated for hours. Protein slows down gastric emptying, it blunts the insulin spike, and gives your muscles the raw material they need to clear glucose more efficiently. Now, a high-quality plant-based protein powder with unsweetened almond milk gives you 15 grams of protein with minimal carbohydrates and virtually zero saturated fat. Blend it with berries, and you have almost hit your protein and fiber targets before touching any food. Look for pea protein, pumpkin seed protein, chia seed protein, or a combination of those. Minimal ingredients, no added sugar, and at least 15 grams per serving. I personally take Complement protein powder because they have no preservatives or added sugars. If you want to try it out, I will leave the link in the description below. But again, do your research and find the most convenient for you. Next, I'm going to show you my go-to open-faced sandwich for breakfast. Half a cup of mashed chickpeas, 8 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber. Mix with half an avocado, monounsaturated fat that improves insulin sensitivity, plus another 5 grams of fiber. Slice some tomato, put it all on Ezekiel bread. Fiber, protein, healthy fat, whole food carbohydrates, everything at once. Now, here's where I need to be real with you. Eggs and Greek yogurt are fine, but most people are choosing them wrong. Egg yolks contain saturated fat, which impairs insulin receptors. One whole egg plus 2 or 3 whites cuts the saturated fat dramatically while keeping protein high. Scramble with spinach and a bit of olive oil. That's the move right there. For Greek yogurt, go low fat, plain, no added sugar. Greek yogurt gives you about 15 to 17 grams of protein with very little saturated fat. The rule is that plain means plain and add your own berries. Now, once the protein is handled, the next decision that most people get completely wrong is the bread. And this one is worth paying close attention to. Most people avoid bread out of fear, or they grab whatever is labeled whole wheat, and they wrongly assume that they are fine. But neither approach is right. Here's why standard white bread is a problem for blood sugar. All of it is made from flour. Flour is ground grain. The grinding destroys the cell structure of the grain and makes the starch immediately available for digestion. Your blood sugar doesn't know the difference between white flour and whole wheat flour. Both digest fast. Both spike glucose quickly. Ezekiel bread is made from sprouted whole grains. Wheat, barley, millet, lentils, soybeans, and spelt that are never ground into flour. They are sprouted and then combined whole. Sprouting breaks down the starch structure, reduces the glycemic impact significantly, and neutralizes phytic acid, the compound that blocks mineral absorption. The result is Ezekiel bread that has a glycemic index of around 36, while white bread sits at around 75. Most whole wheat bread lands at about 69 to 72. So Ezekiel bread isn't just better bread. It's a completely different metabolic category. And because the recipe for Ezekiel bread combines grains and legumes, lentils and soybeans specifically, it creates a complete amino acid profile. 4 grams of fiber per slice and 5 grams of protein. This is a bread that actively supports better blood sugar as opposed to spiking it. Here's one practical note. You're gonna find Ezekiel bread in the freezer aisle, not on the shelf. And that is because it has no preservatives. No, that is not a flaw. It's actually a feature. The only place that I have found it on the shelf is at Trader Joe's, but it tends to spoil after a couple days. Just a warning. Now, let's talk about what most people are drinking alongside all of this and how it might be quietly undoing everything on the plate. Yes, this is where breakfast falls apart for most people without even realizing it. Orange juice, skip it. A standard glass has 33 grams of natural sugar with 0 fiber. Juicing removes the fiber that would have acted as our dam. Without it, that sugar hits your bloodstream as fast as soda. The fact that it's natural sugar doesn't change the glucose response. Sure, it's better, but the blood sugar spike is still elevated. Cold-pressed juices, smoothies, with mango or apple as the base. Same problem. Some bottles contain 40 to 50 grams of sugar. The fruit origin doesn't protect you when the fiber is gone. So, what to drink instead? Water, unsweetened black coffee, or green tea. If you want something with flavor, choose a vegetable-based juice like greens, cucumber, celery with minimal fruit juice and under 5 grams of sugar per serving. If you're making a protein shake, use unsweetened almond milk as your base, not juice, not regular dairy milk if you want to keep your saturated fat intake low. Now, here's what you do immediately before and after eating breakfast. And this part is just as important as everything else. First, take your Berberine with your first bite, not after finishing your breakfast. This timing is critical. Berberine activates AMPK, your cell's master metabolic switch. Basically, when AMPK is activated, your cells become more insulin sensitive, and they take up glucose more efficiently from the bloodstream and bring it into the cells. Taking it with your first bite means it's already working as glucose begins entering your bloodstream from that meal. A 2025 meta-analysis of 12 randomized placebo-controlled trials covering 889 participants found that Berberine significantly reduced fasting plasma glucose, triglycerides, and LDL cholesterol with a safety profile comparable to placebo. I personally take Jade Supplements Pure Berberine with my first bite of breakfast every morning. That is 600 milligrams with breakfast, basically. And then another 600 milligrams, another capsule with my dinner. That right there is 1,200 milligrams per day, a clinically studied dose. Now, the bottle says 1,200 milligrams per serving because one serving is composed of 2 capsules. But we recommend splitting the dose, 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule in the evening for 24/7 blood sugar coverage. If you want to go ahead and try it out, the link is going to be below this video in the description. Second, walk for 10 to 15 minutes after you finish eating. Your muscles pull glucose directly from your bloodstream during movement without needing insulin. It's called contraction-mediated glucose uptake. Think of it as turning on a vacuum the moment that glucose arrives. A 2017 randomized crossover study confirmed that 15-minute post-meal walks were more effective at lowering post-meal blood sugar than a 45-minute workout done at any other time of the day. Move right after the meal and you intercept the spike before it builds. Berberine, breakfast, walk. That is the combination. Layered on top the food combinations that we just talked about, and you're gonna have a completely different blood sugar response by mid-morning. Okay, to recap this whole video. Number 1, whole food carbs are not the problem. Refined carbs paired with saturated fat is. Fiber acts as a dam that controls how fast glucose enters your blood. Number 2, aim for 25 to 35 grams of protein at breakfast. It blunts the post-meal glucose spike and keeps hunger regulated for hours. Number 3, Ezekiel sprouted grain bread, it has a GI of 36 or so, is in a completely different category from all other flour-based breads, and it's completely made from sprouted whole grains, never ground into flour. Number 4, chickpea avocado mash on Ezekiel hits protein, fiber, and healthy fat simultaneously. Number 5, eggs, mostly whites to reduce saturated fat. Greek yogurt, low fat, plain, no added sugar. Number 6, orange juice and fruit juices in general remove the fiber and deliver 30 to 50 grams of sugar directly into your bloodstream. Skip them. Number 7, Berberine, 600 milligrams with your first bite of breakfast, not after, so it's active as glucose arrives. Stay consistent and take a second dose in the evening with dinner. Number 8, walk 10 to 15 minutes right after eating. Muscles vacuum glucose from your bloodstream without insulin at exponential rates. Lastly, go ahead and comment guide below so we can send you our free 7-day meal plan that will help you reverse insulin resistance by eating more fiber and less saturated fat. It's completely free. Go ahead, comment guide below. If this video helped you out, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you can continue learning from our free information on how to reverse the root cause of high blood sugar problems. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.